Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Pro Talks. I'm Gail Washington, and I'm glad you joined us today. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have Pro Talks is all about free information, just in short videos, gives you a thought of the day on how to improve your ministry, your nonprofit, or your small business. And so I'm glad you're tuning in today. And today we're going to talk about something that I've done for many years. I've worked in a church office and a business office as well for many years. My father had businesses growing up, and so I worked in those and helped structure and run those. But today we're going to talk about how to streamline your office, how to make it better. And so there are 4 different areas I wanted to talk to you today about. I wanted to talk to you about an office calendar. You know, we all think we have an office calendar and there's so many different tools, but there's a few things that really helped me to streamline things, to know what was going on, especially if I was administrative assistant or I was running 2 or 3 pastors' calendars and we all needed to be connected, is I would color code them. And Google came out with this as well later on. But anyway, my boss had me color code all the calendars so he would know which things stood for what, for people, for entities, for separate departments of the church, different things like that. And so I just wanted to say, make sure you have a good calendar, and make sure you can use Google Calendar, but you need to make sure everybody's putting it on a one main calendar. Have you ever been ready to do something and you didn't know someone else was already doing it or overlapping? Calendar's so important for organization and productivity. Making sure that you know what's going on, making sure that you're doing dates and projects and project calendars as well, so that you know what's going on in your business, in your church, what people are doing, what are we developing, what are we doing to make things better. And so it's very, very important to do that. And so all the events can be run through them. One of the things I know that happened, all of us get so busy and we forget about certain events or promoting certain events. And if we don't have a proper calendar, then we're not planning ahead. We're not doing social media properly. We're not doing any of those things. And in today's world, it is super important about running social media properly and website. But we won't talk about those things today. We're going to talk about those in the next couple weeks. But I just wanted to say, it's very simple, it's very basic, and I know you're thinking, oh, that's no revelation, but an office calendar is so important. You can get it, it's not so much to run your schedule as it is the knowledge of everybody being on the same page. And that is so, so important. Make sure you have a good office calendar, whether it's Office 365, where you've got Outlook, or you could use the Google Calendar, which is a free calendar, but you need to make sure that people are sharing those. You can put all different events on there. You can notifications on there as well. Super simple. If you just go in there, Google has a lot of great videos that'll show you how to do that. So make sure you've got a great calendar. Policy and procedure. This is one that everybody fights. Nobody likes writing policy and procedure, or most of us don't. And so that is so, so important. It's so important to have an accounting policy and procedure. It's so important to have policy and procedures of what you're expecting from your employees, their job description, what's expected of them. Are they expected to be there at 8 every morning? Are they expected to be in the office? Are they expected to be in a staff meeting? And when you do policies and procedures, stick by them. Don't veer from them. Yes, you can cancel or postpone some things, but don't make it the norm. If you are going to have a staff meeting every week, have the staff meeting. And I know that's kind of hard sometimes when you're running things, but it is very important to keep consistency in policy and procedure. Make sure that you structure your ministry through that. Like, how are things going to operate through your business? How are we going to take care of a brand new customer? How are we going to take care of a visitor? Those should be all put in policies and procedures. Some people call them SOPs, standard operating procedures. You need to have that in writing. You think that's a lot of work. It is a lot of work, but if you work on those and you get those down, the procedures, and your employees, you communicate your mission and the way to do things to your employees and the people that are working with you, you will increase productivity, and the atmosphere and environment will be so much better. And so that's very, very important. And that's one of the huge things that are lacking in a lot of offices, even business offices. And so I want to tell you, you need policies and procedures. We do have some templates. If you need some help with that, let us know. You know, of course, you can always call us at the end of this video. We've got all the information for the website and the phone number and things. But if we can help with that, let us know. Because training your staff, by the way, policies and procedures reduce the time in training. If you even videoed training and it was in your policy and procedure, you could all onboard an employee and they could come right up to speed just by watching videos or reading through a policy and procedure. So it saves time, even though you think it's so much time in the front end. It's kind of like a joke that my mom used to tell, and she'd say, you know, hey, do you need a ride? She'd see a person walking on the side of the road, this lady did, and she said, hey, do you need a ride? He says, no, I'm in a hurry. I got to get there. And so he never got in the car. Well, sometimes I think that's the way we are. We're so tunnel vision that we cannot see. There's easier ways. If we put policies and procedures in place, then things take care of themselves and we don't have to keep repeating over and over. And if you're running a ministry or working in a ministry or running a business, you don't have time to keep doing things over and over and over again. And so make sure you have policies and procedures. Database, very important for a database. Businesses use usually software, so they have a customer base. Churches have a database for relationships and people and visitors and church members. Listen, a database is so important for you to be able to keep up with that person that visits your church. You know, and that way you can have all their information in there. You can have what relationships they have. Maybe a family's coming and they're, you know, the mother or the grandmother or a distant relative has cancer and you could pray for them. That would mean so much for that family. Maybe if you have a customer base, you know, if you had a proper customer setup, you would know the things that they were lacking. A good salesperson always knows what that customer needs. For instance, I used to work in auto parts. My dad owned Napa auto parts stores. And so I would already know what my customer did not have. If they didn't have an AC recycling machine, if they didn't have whatever piece of equipment that they needed that would help their business, it could pay for itself, and it would make them money. Well, those are the things that you need to research. And just like in a church, you need to know, what does that visitor need? Of course he needs God. Of course he needs discipleship. Maybe it's a church or a visitor that just came and just got saved. They're going to need to have some basic discipleship. They're going to need to know about baptism. They're going to need to know about church ordinances. They're going to need to know about joining the church. And then suppose you've got a church family that comes in and they've been saved for a long time and they moved in your area. Well, they may not need a basic discipleship, but they need fellowship. They need to build friendships. What Sunday school class are you going to connect them to? Where are you going to connect them to where they feel a part of the whole? And I've had churches that didn't have any kind of a database and they were writing everything by hand. And it was, you're losing relationships and time. And that's very, very important, is to make sure that you have a database. Make sure you have one, and a good one. If you need some suggestions for that, we'll have some suggestions possibly on our page, on our web page, but you can always call us, give us a call. We'll be glad to help you with that. Records. Records are so important. I have said it over and over and over again. Records on for churches, for people, and all of the different things that have happened to them or their family or their kids' names. You know, any of those things need to be records, but I wanted to zone in on good records on financial, what you've done, Do you have purchase orders to back it up? Did you make good notes on what's being done? Do you have an organized file with projects in it that you know where it's going? Do you have printed pieces, marketing, meeting notes, even sermons if you're a church? I mean, do you have proper records? And so a lot of times a filing cabinet is a big black hole and you just throw it in there and you never use it again. And so I would suggest putting folders on your computer as well as having, and if you would rather have a paper copy, put it to where it's things that you use every single day and utilize those. Each project should have objectives and goals. Each project should have what is being done, where's the progress, all those kind of things. Whether you're in a business or you're in church ministry, you need to know where are those ministries going. Are you advancing on them? Where report, inspect, do it each week. And let me tell you something, that will get things done in a church office. If you do those things, your pastor will think that, wow, you're really on top of this, because you are. And it's an easy procedure. But records are so important. And so those were the 4 things I wanted to talk to you about today. I just wanted to go over that, we need a calendar, a good schedule, everybody on the same page. Calendar is communication. That's the thing. Events, projects, not just if you have an appointment or not, or where you're going to be. But what about the projects that your team's working on? What about those things? Those should all be on a calendar, and Google Calendars is an easy, free way to do that. Policies and procedures. Make standing operating procedures. And by the way, you can even have your team help you with these. They could sit down and say, what is their job? What do they do every day? And a policy and procedure could be from the nursery to an advertising in a business to putting up stock in a business. So you can use it for every single thing, but very important. And when you do those, that communicates to your team what's expected of them, how to do it. We do it this way. This is the way it is. And so if you do those things, it keeps everybody pulling in the same direction, which makes a huge benefit to any company or church or any organization. And God always had us all pulling in the right direction. He tried to always have the disciples pulling in the same direction, and that was to give out the gospel. And then make sure you have a database. A database is very important. Keeping up with what your customers are, keeping up with people is so important. It matters for eternity. And so make sure you do that, and make sure you have good records of what you're doing. Financial procedures and policies, records of what you have. Keep your paperwork, keep receipts. Listen, one of the biggest things I find in churches is they have no receipts. And because someone puts it on a credit card, the receipt blows out the window before you can get back to it. There are ways to do that. If you need help with credit cards or receipts, you need to give us a call. We have a couple of procedures and ways that we can help you that will streamline that. I know bookkeepers that spend hours on trying to sort credit cards with no receipts and find out what's going on. And we can streamline that for you so easily. So I hope these things have been a help to you today. Just a few basic things. And if we can help you with anything in setting up your office or policies and procedures, please give us a call at 865-272-6550 or email us at info@prosupportstaff.com. And so until next week, thank you for joining Pro Talks, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Have a great week.